Let's head off to the US now, of course, because there's been some attempt to crack down on anti-Israel and pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University. But as we talked about last week, as we expected, really, the movement has spread right across the US now. Have a look.
Across the country this weekend, hundreds arrested or detained for protesting on campuses, from Arizona to Missouri, where 80 people were arrested overnight at Washington University. Tension spilling over at UCLA as protesters clash on campus.
Overnight, students at George Washington University in D.C. tore down barriers meant to contain their pro-Palestine demonstration. Their protest now enters its 5th day.
At USC Saturday, the school's famed Trojan statue vandalized. And these images overnight show tactical police units surrounding the campus. They were later called off. That stand down despite students returning to the very same area on campus police cleared them from last week.
I'm with Caitlin Jenner. If you want to protest against Hamas. Anyway, I started on this topic with Kristen Tate.
It's absolutely getting out of hand. It's happening across the country. It's happening here in Boston, the college I graduated from. Emerson College is all over the news here because its students were blocking all kinds of public areas, and then they were arrested. A bunch of them were arrested, over 100 of them. And the college actually put out a statement saying that there will be no consequences at all from the college for the arrested students. So, the college is just, defying the police, essentially, who made these arrests. This is even happening in red states. It's happening in universities all across Texas. And Chris, this is exactly why college enrollment in this country has gone down significantly in the last few years, because parents and younger kids who are in middle school and high school, they see this stuff in the news and they realize it makes absolutely no sense to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to these elite daycares where you don't really even learn anything, and you are bombarded with this radicalism. It's dangerous at this point. But yes, the chaos has gotten out of hand, and I have no sympathy for these colleges. You reap what you sow. They have allowed this behavior to go on unchecked for decades now, and this is sort of the crescendo of it. So I hope they're enjoying the monster they created.
Yeah, it's offensive on so many levels, just the ignorance of the protesters and the hate that's directed at people. It's migrated to Australia now. We've had protests at Australian universities, and the main one at Sydney University has included children chanting "Intifada, Intifada," which is just, I just find disgusting. But of course, perhaps the worst of all these elements is the fact that it intimidates Jewish students. And I know that in the US, particularly at Columbia, Jewish American students are being warned away. They're too scared to go to college. And that's just an untenable situation.
That's right. I just saw a video earlier today of a UCLA student who was being blocked from entering a university building by a bunch of protesting students, deliberately not letting this student into the building because he was Jewish and wearing a Star of David necklace. This is a tuition-paying student being denied access to his university. And of course, incidents like this are happening at many universities right now. It's disgusting. It's despicable. And where have the Democrats been calling out anti-Semitism? Yeah, a couple of them are saying some things now because they have to, and the pressure is just too great to ignore. But they have allowed this anti-Semitism to fester. And I know a lot of Jewish Democrats who at this point are looking seriously at the administration and their lack of response here and wondering what they're going to do in November. They certainly don't support Trump. They're Democrats, but they're scared of what's going on. And the anti-Jewish hate that is festering within their party is appalling.
Yeah, it's a real weak spot for the political left in the US, here in Australia, in Europe and the UK as well. The political left are just so weak on this, and we are seeing the consequences. It's a tragic shame.